Tonight, let's continue our teaching series on sex. So today we want to talk about the various health benefits of sex. But meanwhile, let's share. If you are joining me, kindly share to one or two people. So we want to talk about the health benefits of sex. So tonight, like yesterday, we were able to discuss sex, the types of sex, the stage, what it entails, and of course, various things about sex. And we said that was going to be the part one. So today, talk about the various benefits of sex. And talking about the benefits of sex is because I call physical, psychological, physiological, cognitive, and various things when it comes to, and of course, it can be reproductive. You understand? So let's now look at the various taking it, generally in both male and females. So tonight, what is number one benefit of health of sex? Number one benefit of sex is pain relief. Pain relief. And when we're talking about pain relief, it could be a sort of headache, it could be a sort of body pain. And when there are some hormones that are being released during sexual intercourse, some of them we call them the dopamine, love hormone, the cortisol, the endorphins. But endorphin particularly, when we are having pains or headache or body pains during sex, and you are able to, reach orgasm, and those hormones come rushing, it can relieve your pain. Endorphins being released during sex is like analgesic. It can, of course, actually relieve your pain. And of course, apart from that, one of the benefits is good sleep. You understand? Assuming you have been having a bad day, you've been stressed up all through the day, and you are just coming home, and you are finding it difficult to sleep. Why don't you have sex? When you have sex, you are going to get better, and the sleep is going to be sound sleep, especially when you are able to reach orgasm or reach a point of release, or what we call ejaculation. And of course, there's something we call cardiovascular system, the heart, and the, in connection with the blood vessels in our system. You understand? When having sex is, a form of exercise to your heart. It supports heart health. You understand? And of course, there is a research that says it might lower your blood pressure. You understand? Maybe your blood pressure is high, and you have been managing it and coping with it. Immediately you have sex, your blood pressure becomes low because of various hormones that are released into your blood system. And of course, it can reduce heart disease. And when we're talking about heart diseases, apart from hypertension, which is blood pressure, we have various heart conditions. You understand? And they're now telling us, the researchers are telling us that one of the ways that you could reduce your risk of heart diseases, it's actually by having sex. So what are you still waiting for? To reduce your heart disease risk, you have to have sex. So have sex now. And of course, it can relieve stress. You've been going through a hard day at work, on the road, coming in the traffic, having issues at work and all that. Of course, having sex could relieve your stress. It could relieve your stress. And of course, apart from that, it could also boost your mood. It could improve your mood. If you're having a bad day, maybe you are sad or you are gloomy, you have something you're thinking about, and your mood has been, you have a soured or gloomy outlook. Having sex will, of course, improve your mood. And of course, it could lead to more intimacy and bonding. You understand? You could bond easily with your partner. There is, physical and emotional intimacy when you have good sex and you understand each other and there's more communication. It leads to, you know, physical and emotional intimacy. And of course, there will be bonding. You'll be able to bond easily with your partner. You'll be able to bond easily with your partner. You can easily bond with your partner. And of course, there's something in the system that we call immunity. Immunity is just the strength of our system. The how do I put it? Immunity is something that when you have immunity, your body will not break down. Time somebody is coughing, they are behind you because you have good immunity. You might not be able to catch it. But if your immunity is low, you tend to, gather every opportunist infection, anything goes around you. But if you have a strong body, your system, your immune system is very strong. When you have sex, your immune function will be increased, your immunity will be increased. And of course, it can lead to increased self-esteem. At times when you are in a relationship and you are initiating sex and your partner is always rejecting or refusing you, you know what I'm saying? In other words, your partner is rejecting you over time and they are not initiating. You are initiating, they are rejecting you. And over time, you start drifting apart. You start drifting apart. And they are not the type that makes contact, that initiates sex. Over time, what happens is that you begin to lose your self-esteem. You understand? In that relationship. But when you have good sex, your relationship is good, and you as an individual, you have increased self-esteem. And of course, it supports hormonal imbalance. There's some hormones in our body. Without sex, they cannot work, they cannot function. Our body system to give us immune system. But when you're not having sex, those hormones might not be able to release. So the support of sex, good sex support hormonal imbalance. And of course, apart from that, it reduces anxiety. If you are anxious as a person, you have a lot of things that you are anxious, you are gloomy. If you have good sex, because of those hormones, the endorphins, the cortisols, the dopamines that are released during sex, have something like it will calm it has soothing effect. Just like you are cold and you want to use your warm water to bath, and you after warming the water, you just go into your bath and you're just doing like that. It has soothing effect. Sex has soothing effect, and that's why it improves your self-esteem. You're having low self-esteem in relationship. Maybe your partner is they are not a woman. You begin to think, what is wrong with me? Am I no longer attractive? Is it that my partner is cheating or something? It degrades or denigrates it degrades and downgrades your self-esteem. But when you have good sex, it improves your self-esteem. And of course, it supports your cognitive health, your brain, your memory, everything that has to do with your brain health. Sex supports it. Sex supports your brain health. You understand? There are some researches in the course of me doing this that I saw some write-up that some people say if you have good sex, that you are likely not to go through dementia, Alzheimer's, all these degenerative brain disorders. So you can see all the way sex has a lot of benefit. And of course, there's something within the male and the female reproductive system. We call it the pelvic floor. That place that your bum bum is seated, that your penis as a man and all your male organ is seated, and the female organs too. We call it the pelvic floor. So in that pelvic floor, there are muscles in that pelvic floor. And what happens to those muscles is that we do something we call Kegel exercises. Maybe post childbirth, a woman has just delivered, we advise them to do Kegel exercises. A man is having erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation. One of the behavioral therapy is Kegel exercises, whereby the muscle of the pelvic is like this. You keep moving it, one, two, relaxing and contracting it to strengthen the pelvic muscles. So when you have sex, ordinarily, you don't need Kegel exercises. If you are not going through erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation, what happens is naturally during sex, as those the muscle, there is increased muscle tension. You understand? When you're about to have sex, there is, like yesterday we were able to talk about the first stages of sex, where we talk about the excitement phase, we talked about the plateau phase, we talked about the orgasm phase, and of course, we were able to talk about the resolution phase. So under the excitement phase, there will be blood rushing, like engorge into your private area. And when it happens, without blood flow, your penis cannot, work. Without blood flow, it cannot work. We have some now they call pudendal nerves. They do a lot of work when it comes to your pelvic. So with all those tension that is being released, all those that makes like an exercise, makes one exercise for your pelvic muscle. And when your pelvic floor is healthy, when you are growing up, it will prevent a lot of things that we'll be getting. And of course, it can lead to healthier aging. You are growing, maybe you have heard people say, I'm growing in grace, growing in grace. When you're talking about growing in grace, it's not, when you have peace of mind. And sex is one of the things that can give you peace of mind. If you are in a good relationship, there's good sexual and body chemistry, the neurotransmitters are running, and the dopamine, the cortisols, and all that. Understand? So it supports healthier aging. It supports healthier aging. And of course, apart from that, since sex, to some people, is like an exercise. Actually burn your calories. It can burn calories for you. And when we're talking about calories, you are trying to lose weight, why don't you have sex? It will help you a great deal. Sex will help you a great deal. It's a form of weight management. And of course, it reduces depression. You understand? At times, when we're talking about depression, it's a very broad topic. Depression is very, very broad. And when we're talking about depression, it's a psychiatric disorder. And most of the times, when people are living with you or they are around you and say, I enter depression, most of the time we are not able to pick. And if it gets to advanced stages, you hear them saying they want to commit suicide, you hear people jumping into the river, you see people drinking poison, you see people, hanging themselves to death. You understand? Most of those cases we see, they are depression, they are depressive illnesses. So, but when you have good sex, it reduces your risk of depression. And of course, it's a way to improve fertility. And when you're talking about fertility, infertility issue can happen in female and can happen in male. Gone are those days that we only thought that the only person that has issues with fertility is our women. But these days, it's no longer the same. Things are evolving, things are changing, things are evolving with various researches, advancement in technology, fertility technologies. We now find out that even men have issues with fertility. You understand? And of course, when you have good sex, it prevents future incontinence. You'll be able to have control over your bladder. It can be urinary incontinence or fecal incontinence. Fecal incontinence is your poo-poo. When you want to poo and you don't have the feeling that is coming, and it's just coming just like that. You understand? because of the weakness of your pelvic floor muscles. But when you have good sex, this is a form of Kegel exercise. This is like a Kegel exercise. What you are trying to prevent future fecal or urinary incontinence. And of course, improves your libido. You are having issue with sex drive, low libido, loss of interest in sex or something. When you keep having sex, it improves and boosts your libido. So your sex drive is improved, your low libido is gets increased, the loss of interest is rejuvenated, and you feel like having sex. You feel alive all again, all over. Feel alive all over. And of course, it reduces the risk of prostate cancer. There is a research says that the more you offload your prostate fluid, by the time when you offload your prostate fluid, there are some toxins and some bacteria inside that prostate that is usually being flushed out during ejaculation. Your prostate is just a very tiny gland just within your male reproductive system. And that tiny gland, what does it do? Is the one that produces fluid for the sperm to be able to move to its place of destination. Because ordinarily, when the sperm is produced, is just thick. So sperm is not, when we're talking about the ejaculate or the sperm, it's not only sperm that it contains a whole lot of things, seminal fluid, prostate, a lot of things inside it. So the prostate fluid will enable your sperm to move to the place that it will function when it comes to for fertilization of the egg. So when you offload your ejaculate, the more healthy your prostate gland becomes. It reduces inflammation, you understand? And that one would have gone with pain, inflammatory conditions. It reduces because of those hormones that is being released. And of course, it's a self-confidence booster. When you know that yes, I've been able to, I've been able to have good sex. You understand? It helps you to boost your self-confidence. It boosts your self-confidence. Seriously boosts your self-confidence. And of course, when it boosts your self-confidence, it may delay menopause in women. You understand? The more you go with good sexual function, the more your menopause is reduced. And even when you are when you have started, when you are into menopause already, or you started having menopausal syndrome or symptoms, if you keep having sex, the unwanted symptoms of menopause, like um, hot flushes, fainting attack, dizziness, tends to reduce over time. Tend to reduce over time. And of course, when it reduces, those are the areas like the vaginal health of a woman at menopause. The vagina that used to be, bulky, thins out. You understand? So it becomes an issue for the male partner to be able to penetrate because the vagina opening is now narrow. So hence, when a man understand that the wife or the partner is already reaching menopausal age or there, they have to take it easy, use lube, plenty of foreplay, so that the woman will not feel much pain. Women have what we call dyspareunia. That is painful sex during, before, and after. Pre-menopausal, we have pain. During menopause, there is pain because the vaginal wall is no longer soft, it's narrowed now, like very tiny. So even the penis that is the same size that has been entering there, and the penis now want to enter, it will look like a problem to the woman. At that time, if the man is not gentle, you see the woman, trying to run away when it comes to the time of sex. And it may support the women that are still menstruating. Sex is good for their health. It supports menstrual health. How does it do that? For example, if a woman has menstrual cramps, you need to have dysmenorrhea or something. With good sex, there will be reduction in your cramps because when your endorphins are released during sex. You understand? And so if you have sex, not necessarily, some doctors recommend that you could have sex during menstruation if you are going through serious dysmenorrhea, that is cramping and pain during menstruation. Except you've gone for testing and say it's something like endometriosis. What we're talking about endometriosis, the uterus has 3 layers. And the 3 layers of uterus, we have the myometrium, we have the endometrium, and we have the perimetrium. The perimetrium is the outermost layer, the myometrium is the middle layer, and the endometrium is the innermost layer. Now, when it is time for menstruation, the muscles of the endometrium, the innermost layer, is not supposed to be found in the perimeter. It's not supposed to be found in the ovary. It's not supposed to be found in fallopian tubes or the myometrium. When it is now found there during menstruation, the body is confused. Where should I release this hormone? Because hormone should be released before menstruation. So when the body now pushes into the innermost layer that is responsible for menstruation, and the kind of tissue of endometrium, the middle layer, is still found in the ovary, then they have a lot of pain, or maybe ovarian cyst or fibroids. Those are some of the things that can complicate dysmenorrhea. So if you know that you've gone to test and you are not having endometriosis, you are not having ovarian cyst, you are not having fibroid, why not? Sex will help you to reduce menstrual cramps. And of course, it can lead to uh, sexual satisfaction. Talking about sexual satisfaction, like I said yesterday, nobody knows what you want like you. You understand? You are the one that knows this is what I need during sex. So, and if you are getting it, you understand? As a woman, as a man, you are happy because of what? You are getting what you want in terms of sex. You are getting it. So it leads to sexual satisfaction. It leads to, it lessens the risk of erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is when your penis is not able to have an erection at all. It's not able. And if it's able to, it might not be able to even sustain it. Unlike premature ejaculation, there is an erection, but there is ejaculation early. You understand? So it can lead to, it reduces the risk of erectile dysfunction. And of course, it stimulates blood circulation to the heart, to the muscles area, the pelvic area, and your pelvic floor muscles and all that. And apart from that, it is counted as a form of exercise. You understand? Because at times you see that if you, both of you are really into that sex, you see the sweat, both of you will sweat it out, you sweat it out, you sweat it out, and that will show you that, of course, you'll be able to have good sex. So tonight we've been able to talk about the various benefits of sex. And we talked about that it reduces pain, it's a form of pain relief, improves your sleeps. If you're having an issue with your sleep, you can have sex tonight and tell me, you're going to tell me tomorrow how it feels. Of course, it improves your heart health. Your heart health is improved, lowers your BP, reduces the risk of like heart attack, heart disorders, heart disease risk. And of course, it's a form of stress relief. It improves your mood. You know, when you are down, just try have sex. You understand? It increases intimacy and bonding between you and your partner, improves your immune function, your immunity is reduced, increase self-esteem, and of course, it supports hormonal imbalances. And apart from that, it reduces your anxiety, improves self-esteem, supports your brain health, like we said, to prevent degenerative diseases like dementia, Alzheimer's, and all that, reduces your depression, make you age healthily, improves your pelvic floor muscles health, burns calorie, is a form of exercise, and you can use it to manage your weight, improves your fertility. Sex can give you babies. If you want to make babies, sex can make you have babies. Prevents urinary and fecal incontinence. When your pelvic muscles are stronger than what you think, it will help them. And of course, improve your libido. If you have lower interest in sex or a low sex drive, low libido, continuous sexual relation can improve your libido, reduces the risk of prostate cancer, reduces inflammation, and of course, boosts your self-confidence and esteem, supports menstruation health, supports menopausal health, gives you sexual satisfaction, more satisfying relationship. You know, you want to keep coming back to your partner when you know that you're going to have good sex. Reduce the risk of erectile dysfunction, stimulate blood circulation, and of course, it's a form of exercise. I have you learn one or two things. So see you in the next video. Bye bye for now. Thanks for joining. I'm your friend, Nurse Marisha. Mm-mm. Mm.